Hey guys, what's up? Are you 1 or 0 here? I know it's been a while. I've been pretty busy with some certification prep, as always. If you know me, you know that certifications are a big part of my life. I'm preparing for finally the last certificate that I will get, which is OSCE from Offensive Security. I've been working on some advanced Windows exploitation topics. In the last maybe 3 years, I've been really into binary exploitation. Um, and some people are going through a bug bounty, but I'm working on HackerOne as a full-time employee, and that's like a choice you made. I love doing bug bounty, I love doing pen tests, but I enjoy the most doing research, learning by myself. And I think some of the certifications, especially offensive security certifications, are the best way to do that because they're basically giving you a syllabus and they're saying, okay, these are the topics. We're giving you a bit of also resources, like for you to get the hint. And from there, you find out your own way. Because when you start learning these kind of stuff, you're understanding that there's so many things to learn. I'm just realizing how less I know. Every single time I learn more topics on Windows exploitation. And I've been like spending a lot of time on the kernel exploits as well lately. And wow, it's interesting. It's very different than everything that I've been doing so far. But I'm really into it. That's why it's been I think 4 or 5 months since I didn't upload any videos. It takes a bit of time to create and upload or edit the videos. I'm not a like regular YouTuber. I'm not taking care of these high quality videos or like edits as you may wish. But yeah, I'm just trying to share my knowledge. And I thought it's been a while, so let's create a video as I promised before. So the topics are again on Windows exploit development part. It's not going to be more CTF or something. I don't think so. But lately, since I've been like working on a lot of different stuff, I think I can share my knowledge on these as well, such as like ROP gadgets, step bypass, ASLR bypass. There are videos out there that are covering these. But for instance, if you're working on ROP gadgets, step bypass, you're probably going to look at these amazing resources like Fuzzy Security or Coralin, which are like, go for it, it's Bible for you. But yeah, there are not so many videos on this, like to, break it down step by step on these more complex topics. Of course, there are like really cool videos out there. There are some YouTubers as well that are creating these videos, but I don't know. I think I may give it a shot and also create one. Anyway, there are different topics. Let me have a look. So I was solving a lot of crack me's, like downloading a binary, reversing it, and like patching it or exploiting the vulnerability. I think I may also create some videos. It's like CTF, but CTF for binary exploitation, basically. I think I can also do it because I've been using also IDO Pro lately a lot, Jitter also. So I think I can also make even tutorials on these topics, like introduction to these tools. So I also got some course from Pentester Academy on Windows Debugger because it's also a big part of the process. I'm using it a lot. So I may even give an introduction on that. I don't know, I'm just like talking about the topics that we can discuss in the next videos. Sorry about my voice, I'm a bit sick. Anyway, for like I mentioned, ROP gadgets, I think it's a big topic that you need to ace. And I found this very cool website on ROP gadgets. Let me see the name. ROP Emporium. Yeah, it's a super cool one. It has so many ROP exploits, ROP gadgets exploit examples, exercises. So yeah, we can cover a few stuff there. I worked on heap exploits, heap overflow. They're like cool topics again to mention when you are in a journey with exploitation. Kernel exploits. I've been using Head, which is an amazing exercise for you to go through when you're learning kernel exploits, but it's pretty complex when it's compared to user-land exploits, let's say, all this like SLR bypass, data bypass, etc. When you're going into kernel land, things change, but I don't know. Maybe I will create videos on these too, or who knows. There are still few topics that I want to go over in the next months, like over browser exploitation, different exploits that I want to rewrite again on kernel exploits. There's some 0 days on the last years about that, and I will probably try to rewrite it myself. But yeah, when you start learning, you're realizing how less you know. And of course, it's the same on different fields. But with this Windows exploitation, I'm really into it. And yeah, just another question sometimes I get like, okay, you're working at HackerOne and you're already a pen tester, you're already doing bug bounty. Like, why are you not doing it fully to increase reputation and signal and, of course, gain more money? I'm already doing freelance stuff and I'm already doing freelance pen testing in different platforms as well. So I'm already like increasing my income in this way. And I know that I can do bug bounty and gain much more. But the thing is that it satisfies me more when I'm learning something high level. And my plan is that to learn these high level topics on Windows exploitation and do full time, hopefully in the future, binary exploitation reverse engineering as a bug bounty hunter. So that's the plan. But right now I'm working at HackerOne and I'm seeing these amazing reports, especially coming for binary exploitation reverse engineering. And yeah, it's a great area that I'm really, really into lately. Anyway, I think we chat quite a lot. So yeah, let's dive into the video. I created this video on fuzzing. This is the topic of this video, yeah, I should probably mention. So what is fuzzing? I'm not going to give you guys a dictionary description. You can probably check it out yourself. From my understanding, fuzzing is that when you are trying to find a vulnerability on an application, or it can be an executable or on a binary, you need to look on all the input areas. It doesn't have to be in a GUI, an input area that you can think of, but it can be in a HTTP GET or POST request. It can be in a HTTP header. Any area that you are putting an input to the application, there can be a vulnerability. There can be a function used in the background that doesn't check the input validation properly, which allows you to crash the application, like disrupt the way the application works. If that happens, application crashes, and you should just say that, okay, I fuzzed the application, I found the vulnerable area. Now I need to figure out how can I exploit it. There can be different ways to exploit it. It can be a vanilla buffer overflow, a stack overflow, or it can be a heap overflow. Depends on how the application is built. You need to figure it out. Okay, all these topics on exploit development comes after that. However, as the first step, if you are into binary exploitation or exploit development, you need to know how to fuzz. Now, there are different tools that you can use. You can reverse the app in a different ways. But if we're going through especially certification process like OSCE, I think in the name change, like OSCED, I guess, I'm not sure. But you should probably learn about fuzzing and different tools, most popular tools people are using. So the tools that I will cover is, first one is Spike, a tool that already comes with Kali, as far as I know. So there are some syntax and some important parts that you need to know how to use Spike. And you need to understand the syntax in order to build your own script to fuzz the application. Because yes, we are going to use automated tools. However, you need to create your own script in order to use the tool itself. So you need to understand the syntax of the tool, on how to use it later, but you also need to learn how to create the scripts. But we have to all start somewhere. So I will just give an introduction and give some examples. I also created videos on these, so we can just cover how it goes. After Spike, I will talk about BooFuzz, which is a part of Sully application, Sully Fuzzer. So it's also a very cool one, and we will use it a lot as well. I think it's one of the tools that I use the most when it comes to binary exploitation. If you know Ombre, he's an amazing guy who is creating these tutorials on his blog. He's amazing, really, just check his blog. And when I was preparing for OIC, I saw that he created a tool called BooGen. It's basically a BooFuzz script generator You're just giving your HTTP request to the script, and it creates the BooFuzz script for you so that you can use it with fuzzing. So he's incredible. You should definitely check this out. We will also cover it today. And then I included the custom script on written on Python. I'm scripting only on Python. I know how to write on Perl, etc. But my main language that I'm using is Python. So I created a TFTP fuzzer. So yeah, we'll look into it as well. So let's start with Spike. All right, this is the first tool that we are gonna go through. I just shared the syntax here. As you can see, string variable, block start, block end, read packet, and read line. These are the comments, let's say, that we will use the most, especially string. So I just strongly suggest you to go through these syntax, these comments to understand how to use them and where to use them. I'm not going to it so much. I just created this in a file, and I just wanted to share you with you guys. So please go through the documentation of Spike. I just basically give you a hint here, like which comments you will use the most and which comments you should check out first. But of course, it's always useful to look at other comments as well. So yeah, that's the first hint. The next one is have to write script for get request or post request. I just shared the post request here. It's like a just sample, and have to write it. You know, like you will start with string, and every single line will go there. You need to like write \r \n for the new line, and then as you can see, block start for the post request, the input area. You need to define it like block start, block end, etc. And just have a look how I defined it, like string variable. Like string is the parameter, and an string variable is the value that we're gonna fuzz. So again, I will go through like offensive secret way. I will not explain everything. Just go through it yourself, please. I'm just giving the hint here. Another example, like for FTP script, sorry. Like there are two input areas, user and pass, and how I defined it in here. The string as a parameter user, string unknown for anonymous, and look at the string variable admin, the part that I'm gonna fuzz. Cool. So let's see an example of Spike. So I'm in my Windows 7 system, it should be, and I am running an application called One Server. So it's already running. I'm checking my IP address here. And I will just use this information in my Kali box later. Cool, I learned IP. I just connect with the application in here in my Kali box, and as you can see, these are the comments that we can see. Cool, so I just created a Spike script. As you can see, it's the extension SBK, and I just created a string hello world. So it's basically just a one-line script. So how do I write it? So we are using this command generate some TCP and writing the IP address, the port number, and the script that we just created. Hopefully it's in the same directory so that you don't have the error file not found. And then 0, 0. For more information on what does this mean, 0, 0, as I mentioned, I'm not going to give hints. I'm just going to give hints. I'm not explaining fully. Please go check Spike manual. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run netcat to see the incoming connections to my Windows box. Let's see. We will listen on this port that I'm getting the comments on. Send the fuzzer script. As you can see, I'm getting the connection there. I just did this to check if my Spike script and Spike comment is working properly. So just created another one with this string variable in order to send my fuzzing scripts this time, not the same thing as hello world. So as you can see, now I'm sending this one, and let's see what kind of requests we are getting and on netcat. When I start this, as you can see, the kind of input that I'm getting changed, and as you can see, we are getting some random input. It's just sending different amount of different size of input in order to see how the crash will happen. Cool. I think I will just go through exploiting one of these comments that's defined in here. As you can see, these are all the comments, and I will go through it from. I'm going to check if it's vulnerable and what's the offset that I need to have. I just created another file called tron.sbk. We're reading the line. A string will be tron space because the comment comes after that. And the variable comment is the part that's going to fuzz. So instead of comment, it's going to send so many different input and different sizes. So I'm just going to change the file name as tron, and I also fired up immunity in order to see when the crash happens so that I can understand how offset is, what kind of offset do we have. And as you can see, I get an access violation error. So I immediately stopped my fuzzer spike. And as you can see, it happened in the first seconds. So I'm seeing that there is a big amount of input that's been sent, like 5,004. So I'm hoping that that's the offset or similar to this. When you send that amount of data, the application crashes. So from there, finding the offset is a different story. But when it comes to fuzzing, that's the number that I'm going to investigate later. Cool. That was spike. I have to use it on a binary. So yeah, we'll just jump into the next one, BooFuzz. As I mentioned before, BooFuzz is the main application that I use the most. You can just check its GitHub page. It explains again everything, how to use it, the syntax, etc. I will not go into it. It also has a funny interface. Cool. I just dropped the GitHub page in here in case you want to see. So the exact exercise for it, it's easy file management web server. As you can see, it's running on this URL. In my Calibux, I just went to this URL and I registered a user and I logged in. I intercepted the request with Verb and I saw this is the request that I need to deal with. Now I need to create a BooFuzz script. So, okay, this is the BooFuzz script, skeleton script, let's say. We're defining the host and port number, the session that you need to define. So after that, we are just initializing this block. And as you can see, I mentioned a lot of stuff as static. So all these lines that you see, I don't want to fuzz it. I see that input area user ID in a cookie value. So I just want to fuzz this one. So I put everything else before that in static. That means that it's not going to be fuzzed. It's not going to be touched. So then I defined string user. That's the part that I'm going to fuzz. So that's why it's not static. And for the rest of it, I put it in static. Not everybody does that. Some people are putting everything in string, defining the lines, etc., in order to fuzz everything. But that's the way I handle it. I fired up immunity again. I'm just attaching the process because the app is already running, starting it, and sending my script. Cool. We'll see for a crash. Sending it. As soon as I see the crash, I will pause it or stop the script. Let's say no crash detected. It says for now. And wait until the crash happens. Yeah, access violation. I stopped it ASAP, but I'm not sure if I stopped in the right moment. So I will check for the last few data sent. This is something at 700, 600, etc. So probably that's the offset that I will be looking at. Cool, figure out the number there. The next one is this FTP server. So the previous one was an HTTP post request. Now this will be an FTP script for BooFuzz. Okay, so this is my script. Again, the BooFuzz scripts are pretty much similar. Like there's a skeleton script that you need to save and you can just use it over and over again by changing a few values. The host number, port number, you need to identify it according to what you have. So what did I do? I define host, I define port. Again, I'm defining like the session variable here. It's very straightforward. Then after that, I'm initializing user. This is like defining the parameter here. I'm saying static user. I'm not fuzzing that one. Delimiter, space, and then static value anonymous because I am trying to find the password value if I'm going to find a crash there. I'm not checking for username. I'm checking for anonymous user anyway. The static for new line, and then initialize the pass variable, static pass again, delimiter will be space. And then I'm defining that the first input as test, as string test. That's the part that's going to be fuzzed. That's static again, new line, we're connecting, and yeah, pretty straightforward skeleton exploit. So I fired up immunity on Windows. I'm attaching the process because the application is already running. Easy file share FTP something. Yeah, that one. I'm attaching it. I'm running the application. Now let me put them all in the same page. Yeah, so we can see it together. I'm just running the FTP script now. Easy FTP. Yeah, I started it. Let's wait for a crash. When a crash happens, I'm immediately gonna stop it and we'll check for the offset. What's the size of the data that's been sent that caused the crash? Let's wait for it. It takes a while. Yeah, you can also look at the logs. If you remember, the application already has this log part. So yeah, wait until the crash. And when the crash happens, check for the offset. That's it. For BooGen, yeah, that's a very cool tool that I mentioned at the beginning of the conversation with that Ombre created. It's basically a BooFuzz script creator. You're just writing a request in a TXT file, giving it to BooGen in this Python script, and just running the Python script with the syntax that's been described in his GitHub page. It's a very handy one. I definitely suggest you guys to go through it. I really liked it myself. Cool. Let's go through an application for it and let's see how it works. So I'm going to run Minishare. I already fired up on my Windows 7 system. I'm checking IP address. Yeah, I created these videos on the same day, so it should be the same. I'm just intercepting the request and verb and getting the get request in here. I'm just gonna save this in a TXT file, like super easy, you know, just gonna give it to BooGen for it to create generate the BooFuzz script. Going through it, that's the syntax for it. It's a get request. I'm defining it get. He's a genius, seriously, and it just creates an http.py file. You can also like get into details with it. You can just have a look at it. So how do we actually put some effort in here, because he created everything? So the only thing that you need to do is whatever area that you want to fuzz, you're going to change this fuzzable false. You can just kill that part. Just delete that fuzzable false for whatever area that you actually want to fuzz. That's the only thing that you need to put effort. So do it one by one. If you don't get a crash, put it back and just skip to the next line. It's as easy as this. I'm going to do some request URI. I'm going to do it for request URI. I'm doing the same thing, going to Windows box, immunity debugger, attach process, and send the exploit. I'm going to get a crash now. That means that request URI was the part to cause the crash. Super cool. That's another script that I wrote for TFTP. It's a custom script, as you can see. I'm not going to go into details too much. It's just like writing the host number, port number, the file name. It will start with A. I wrote a counter variable here. It will do it for 80 times if my math is correct. And append a character over and over again. I just defined the connection in here. This payload part is specific for TFTP. You need to go and check yourself how to send the file to TFTP server. Cool. So that was it. I'm also like adding some print value here for me to see the length so that I can actually find offset, because that's the whole purpose. Anyway, I just attached it to immunity and I'm running the script and it immediately crashed. So it's probably 9,000 something, as you can see in here. Cool. So that was it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please drop a comment, but not about my appearance, my accent. I saw some really stupid comments. Please, guys, this is not a makeup tutorial video. This is about binary exploitation, introduction to fuzzing. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop a comment. I'll see you for the next video. Bye, guys.